Intrinsic pathway of coagulation produces the same product that extrinsic pathway of coagulation produces. That would be the enzyme prothrombinase. The difference is that we have more number of steps in intrinsic pathway, and that's the reason, or one of the reasons, that intrinsic pathway takes a little bit longer than extrinsic to give us prothrombinase. It usually takes a few minutes for intrinsic pathway to produce prothrombinase molecule. That's one difference between the two pathways. The other difference is when we say intrinsic pathway, it simply means that all the chemicals involved in this pathway are within blood and the blood vessel. So we do not have any chemical involved in intrinsic pathway coming from the outside of the blood vessel. First, we start with a plasma protein named inactive factor 12. Recall, plasma proteins are mostly built by liver cells. Due to the damage to the endothelium, we know that some collagen fibers that we have in subendothelium are exposed, and inactive 12 is very sensitive to touching these exposed collagen fibers. What happens when inactive 12 attaches or touches the exposed collagen fibers? It quickly becomes active. So now we have active 12 because inactive 12 got activated by adhering to the exposed collagen. Active 12 start at the presence of calcium ion, clotting factor 4, activating factor 10. Recall, factor 10 is also a plasma protein. However, this reaction is slightly slow, so we need a catalyst to speed up activation of 10 by active 12. The catalyst for this reaction would be the phospholipid molecules that we get from damaged platelets. So platelet phospholipid, which is released from the damaged platelets, is the one that speeds up activation of factor 10 by active 12. And we know when factor 10 is active, it binds to factor 5 and calcium ion to build the enzyme prothrombinase. But it is important to note that platelet phospholipid also is a catalyst for this reaction. Basically, platelet phospholipid also speeds up binding active 10 to factor 5 and calcium ion. Basically, we can say platelet phospholipid speeds up formation of prothrombinase. So there are two reactions at least that we need to know about them. Both are accelerated by platelet phospholipid. One would be activation of factor 10 by active 12. The other one would be binding active 10 to 5 and calcium ion to build prothrombinase. And we know when prothrombinase molecule is produced, that would be the end of the intrinsic pathway.